Amava Kunjabihari Jaya Rupi Krishna 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 Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhav ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Shama Sundar ki Jai, the Prabhupada ki Jai, Jai Gaur Premanande. Om Agyara Timirandasya Gyaranjana Sadakaya Chakshur Om Militam Jina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachanam Pangum Langayati Giri Yat Kripatam Aham Vande Shri Gurun Prabhava Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shri Mati Bhakti Charu Swami Bhaktinam Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shri Mati Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Itina Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvisesa Sunyavari Vastu Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Jambo. Good evening. Hare Krishna. So my name is Vrajvasi, and a disciple of His Holiness Bhakti Swami Maharaj. And today I've been asked by my friends here, the Eldoret, the temple president and the vice president, to speak about the. Can I have a cushion? To speak about the 26 qualities of the devotee. This is my first time here, so I'm happy to be here and to meet all of you. So I'm happy to be here. And so 26 qualities of the devotee. I think we are all familiar with at least some of these qualities. We've read some of these qualities. So I thought before we could get into discussing these 26 qualities, that we back up. Before we discuss these 26 qualities, maybe we can switch it off here. So it doesn't. So before we discuss these 26 qualities of a devotee, maybe we should explore what is a devotee, or who is a devotee. And then after we identify who is a devotee, and then we can discuss these 26 qualities. So I have database here, so I'm going to use this database to read some of the quotations from the Shastra. So don't mind if you see me using this technology. So, yes, who is or what is a devotee? So that's where we'll start. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas, his mother requested him to base himself in Jagannath Puri, because in that way, Mother Sachi would be able to hear about the activities of the Lord, and also perhaps also visit Jagannath Puri and have darshan of the Supreme Lord. In fact, once after he took sannyas, he was traveling. The 6 years he was traveling, because out of the 24 years that after he took sannyas, he spent 18 years in Jagannath Puri, and he spent the rest, the 6 years, traveling around. And once he went to Advaita Acharya Prabhu's house, and there Mother Sachi was able to cook for the Lord. Very special privilege. So when he returned to Jagannath Puri, he requested the devotees to come every year and spend some time with him. They would go to Jagannath Puri and observe Jagannath Rath Yatra. I understand you just had a wonderful Rath Yatra festival. So the devotees would come from different parts of Bharat, of India, to come and take shelter and darshan of the Lord, and also have darshan of Jagannath and participate in the Rath Yatra. And for 3 years, a group of devotees from Kulinagram, 3 years consecutively, they would ask the Lord several questions. And one of the questions they would ask him was, who is a devotee? Who's a Vaishnava? Vaishnava means follower of Lord Vishnu. This is where the word comes from. Vaishnava means one who follows Lord Vishnu. Just like Christians means Christ-like. So they would ask him, who is a Vaishnava? What is a Vaishnava? And he gave 3 different answers. Every year he would give a different answer. And the first year they asked him, what? Do we have a nectar of instructions? A copy? Yes, you can have a copy. So they asked him, and the first year they asked him, who is a Vaishnava? And he said, anybody who chants Hare Krishna once is a Vaishnava. Very simple answer. Anybody who chants Hare Krishna even once is a devotee, is a Vaishnava. And the next year they came for the Rath Yatra festival. They asked him the same question. Who is a Vaishnava? Who is a devotee? And he gave a slightly different answer. And so I'll read the answer that he gave while we wait for the book. So you can find this if you want to read along. This is Madhya, chapter 16, 71. Start with text number 70. The inhabitants, so this is 1671. The inhabitants of Purinagram said, please let me know, and they were headed by Ramachandra Khan. And so he's asking on behalf of the residents of Purinagram. The inhabitants of Purinagram said, please let me know who is actually a Vaishnava and what his symptoms are. Understanding his mind, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu smiled and gave the following reply. So this is now this is the second year in a row. First year he just said, anybody who chants Hare Krishna once, the Vaishnava. Now this is the second year. So he responds in 1672. A person who is always chanting the holy name of the Lord is to be considered a first-class Vaishnava, and your duty is to serve his lotus feet. So this is the second answer. Anybody who chants the holy name of the Lord is to be a person who's always chanting the holy name of the Lord is considered to be a first-class Vaishnava, and our duty is to serve him. And then, anyway, I'll just read here, since I have the Veda list. I'll go for the nectar of instruction, and we'll read from here. So if you also want to follow along, this is nectar of instruction number 5. So here Srila Prabhupada also expands on this subject matter, what is a devotee? And remember, we are discussing here, what is a devotee, before we speak about the various qualities of a devotee. So that's the verse, Krishnetiya Sagiritam Manasad Yetam, right? That's the famous verse. So the translation is, one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord, right? So mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord. Jai Shri Radha Shama Sunnati Jai Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mali. Now that's the first answer, right? And he says, one should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, diksha, and is engaged in deity worship. So the first one is like, anybody who chants Hare Krishna, we can mentally honor them. Whether they chant once or twice, we mentally honor them. But if somebody is chanting the holy name and has also undergone diksha, means spiritual initiation, then we should offer our humble obeisance. So this is also, in a way, showing us how to deal with various devotees, because we all have, devotees are on different levels. So first one, if somebody is somebody's chanting, thank you, Prabhu, then we offer mentally. And if somebody has undergone diksha and is engaged in deity worship, like our pujari here behind the curtains, then we offer our humble obeisance. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So now this is like the higher stage, Now this person has also undergone diksha, but they have several qualities that the others do not have. And one of them is that they're very pure devotees, and they don't have the propensity to criticize. Because we know what criticism is. You know the famous saying, if you're pointing a finger at somebody, 3 fingers are pointing right back at you. So finding fault in somebody else means that you have probably 3 times as more fault as the person that you're trying to criticize. Now, Srila Prabhupada's purport, I'm just going to skip and just go to the pertinent point here. This is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. And again, this descriptions also gives us idea on how to deal with different devotees, right? Because not all devotees are on the same level. So in this way, this is the way to cultivate devotional service properly. Therefore, in this verse, Srila Rupa Goswami has advised us how to treat various devotees. We can say from practical experience that there are different types of Vaishnavas. The Prakrita Sahajas generally chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, yet they are attached to women. The opposite is also true, also attached to men. Yet they are attached to women, money, and intoxication. So you have people that chant. I mean, if you've been to Vrindavan, you've seen some Babajis, or at least they have the designation of Babajis. They chant Hare Krishna, but they enjoy marijuana. You've seen that in Vrindavan also, right? The Prakrita Sahajas generally chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, yet they are attracted to women, money, and intoxication. Although such persons may chant the holy name of the Lord, they are not yet properly purified. Such people should be respected within one's mind, but their association should be avoided. Those who are innocent but simply carried away by bad association should be shown favor if they are eager to receive proper instructions from pure devotees. But those neophyte devotees who are actually initiated by the bona fide spiritual master and are seriously engaged in carrying out the orders of the spiritual master should be offered respectful obeisances. Okay, let's see. When a neophyte devotee is actually initiated and engaged in devotional service by the orders of the spiritual master, he should be accepted immediately as a bona fide Vaishnava, and obeisances should be offered unto him. Out of many such Vaishnavas, one may be found to be very seriously engaged in the service of the Lord and strictly following all regulative principles, chanting the prescribed number of rounds on japa beads, and always thinking of how to expand the Krishna consciousness movement. Such a Vaishnava should be accepted as an Uttama Adhikari, a highly advanced devotee, and his association should be always sought. Now, this is a very interesting description of a pure devotee. Right? Prabhupada says one who's chanting the prescribed number of rounds, 16 rounds a day, they're following strictly the rules and regulations, but they're always thinking, how can I serve better? How can I improve my service? That's a first-class Vaishnava. So it's not anything abstract. It's not something that's very hard to understand, but it's very, very simple, clear description of what or who is a pure devotee. All right. So that's one level. We go back to the Chaitanya Charitamrita again. And then we go to the Antya Lila 4, 102. So we've just read about the different types of devotees, different levels, and how to deal with different types of devotees. Now here's something very interesting that, so this is a conversation between Sanatana Goswami and Haridas Thakur. And then they also speak about the same thing, what or who is a Vaishnava. So Sanatana Goswami, he glorifies Haridas Thakur. My dear sir, you are chanting the holy name 300,000 times daily and informing everyone of the importance of chanting. And now listen to this. Some devotees, some behave very well, but do not preach the cult of Krishna consciousness. Whereas others preach, but do not behave properly. Two things. You have people that behave properly, but they don't preach Krishna consciousness, or they don't share Krishna consciousness. And then you have those that go out there and preach Krishna consciousness, but they don't behave properly. Sometimes we hear about people get upset with devotees because when you go on book distribution, you don't know sometimes how to deal with people. Sometimes you're very rough. So behavior is also important. Now, text 103. You simultaneously perform both duties in relation to the holy name, but your personal behavior and by your personal behavior and by your preaching. Therefore, you are the spiritual master of the entire world. For you are the most advanced devotee in the world. So that's another definition of a Vaishnava. Is that a Vaishnava, not only does he speak nicely, but he also backs it up with behavior. So the two go together, not mutually exclusive. So how do you see a Vaishnava? Mahaprabhu would say, how do you see a Vaishnava or a Vaishnavi? A Vaishnava and a Vaishnavi is proper gentleman, a proper lady. So behavior is an important thing in defining who or what is a Vaishnava. So now, on the same chapter, a little down, Mahaprabhu speaks about what I'm just speaking about here. He says, my dear Sanatan, although you are the deliverer of the entire universe, and although even the demigods and great saints are purified by touching you, it is the characteristics of a devotee to observe and protect the Vaishnava etiquette. Maintenance of the Vaishnava etiquette is the ornament of a devotee. If one transgresses the laws of etiquette, people make fun of him, and thus he's vanquished in both this world and the next. So again, Mahaprabhu here is speaking about with Sanatana Goswami, and again he's emphasizing the point of behavior. The Vaishnava is not just chanting Hare Krishna, but it's also backed up with behavior. So this prachar and achar. Prachar means speech, and achar means behavior. So you can see that the, excuse me, I'm just going to sit. So you can see then that a Vaishnava is not only somebody who speaks nicely, but is also somebody who behaves nicely. So this is the second time now we've been reading this that we've encountered this very important principle of behavior. We have to show by example what a Vaishnava. So this is very important. And Mahaprabhu says, by observing the etiquette, etiquette means behavior. By observing the etiquette, you have satisfied my mind. Who else but you could show this example? So Mahaprabhu very much appreciates it. Like, imagine, I mean, in some places in our movement, unfortunately, because I understand everybody here is a devotee, in some parts of our movement, we've been ostracized, so we're not held in high regard, because although we speak such high philosophy, but we're not very well behaved. So we push people away from Krishna consciousness. So this is who is a Vaishnava. A Vaishnava is somebody who chants Hare Krishna, but not only chants Hare Krishna, but they also behave properly. Now we can go into the various qualities of a Vaishnava. First, we'll read from, so you can find this in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 4th canto. So we'll read a little bit. That 20 and 16. Has any of you seen somebody who's not only speaks nicely, but also behaves very well? Somebody who's inspiring you like that. Can you think of any Vaishnava? Any Vaishnava. I can think of one. Radhanath Maharaj is one such example. He's a very well-behaved devotee. I'll share with you something that one devotee, anyway, maybe I shouldn't share this story, but he's a very well-behaved devotee, but he also speaks very well. So both qualities are there. So therefore, this is the Vaishnava. All right. So what are these qualities of a Vaishnava? Because remember, there are 26 qualities of a Vaishnava. And so this is the Lord speaking with Maharaj Prithu. It says, my dear king, I'm very much captivated by elevated qualities. And so when we're speaking about behaviors, so that we're going to discuss these behaviors, these qualities that bind the Lord, that are very attractive, that they attract even the Lord himself. My dear king, this is the Lord speaking to Maharaj Prithu. I'm very captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior. Again, there you have behavior. Acha, very important. I'm very much captivated by your elevated qualities and excellent behavior, and thus I am very favorably inclined towards you. You may therefore ask from me any benediction you like. One who does not possess elevated qualities and behavior cannot possibly achieve my favor simply by performance of sacrifice, severe austerities, or mystic yoga. But I always remain equipoised in the heart of one who is also equipoised in all circumstances. And Prabhupada says, in the purport, the spirit soul, as part and parcel of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, has all the good qualities of the Lord. Because we are parts and parcel of Krishna. We're also spiritual sparks. So the qualities that Krishna has, we also have those qualities. But we have them in minute qualities. And so what are some of these qualities that we can have? When the spirit soul is contaminated by the material modes of nature, one is considered good or bad with reference to the material qualities. But when one is transcendental to all material qualities, all the good qualities come out. These qualities of a devotee, 26 in number, are listed as follows. 1, he is kind to everyone. 2, does not quarrel with anyone, except maybe your husband or your wife. Fixed in the absolute truth, equal to everyone, faultless, charitable, mild, clean, simple, benevolent, peaceful, completely attached to Krishna, has no material hankering, is meek, steady, self-controlled, does not eat more than required, is a sane, respectful, humble, grave, compassionate, friendly, and 24 poetic, 25 expert, 26 silent. So these are some of the qualities of a devotee. So maybe let's compare that with the nectar of devotion. Let's compare that with the qualities of the Lord. You can find this in the nectar of devotion. Qualities of Krishna. Srila Rupa Goswami, after consulting various scriptures, has enumerated. So keep those qualities that I've just read in mind. Right? Srila Rupa Goswami, after consulting various scriptures, has enumerated the transcendental qualities of the Lord as follows. Is 1, beautiful features of the entire body. 2, marked with all auspicious characteristics. 3, extremely pleasing. 4, effulgent. 5, strong. 6, ever youthful. 7, wonderful linguist. 8, truthful. 9, speaks pleasingly. 10, fluent. 11, highly learned. 12, highly intelligent. A genius, an artistic, extremely clever, expert, grateful, firmly determined, an expert judge of time and circumstance. So there's 64 qualities here that I won't go through all of them. So you can read them in your own time. So just to give you an idea of the Lord, his own qualities. So when the Lord demands certain behavior and certain qualities from us, it's not that he only demands, but he also lives up to those qualities as well. All right, so maybe now let's discuss these qualities a bit. So this is Madhya 2275. A Vaishnav is one who has developed all good transcendental qualities. All the good qualities of Krishna gradually develop in Krishna's devotee. So I lost my, okay. Devotees are always merciful. Always merciful. They are humble. It is Mahaprabhu says that how do you tell a Vaishnava? Vaishnava is humble. Devotee is humble. And I had one devotee saying that humility is not thinking less of yourself, but thinking of yourself best. So humility is not low self-esteem. It's not the same thing. Humility and low self-esteem are not the same thing. So devotee is humble. And Srila Prabhupada defines in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, he defines humility as not expecting respect from others, but always happy to give respect to others. Devotees are truthful. There's a there's a story I had that one devotee, one devotee went to see another devotee to go visit him, and this other devotee didn't want to entertain guests at the time, and so he told his wife, "Tell him that I'm not home." So what he did is he went through the back door and he stepped outside the house. So is he lying? So when the devotee came and says, "Is your husband home?" He said, "No, my husband is not home." Was he home or was he not home? Is he lying or is he telling the truth? Is he lying? He said he's not home. So in his consciousness, so this is the attraction. The devotees always want to speak the truth, that they also move things around. So truthfulness is a very important quality of the devotee, because telling lies also clouds and it covers the consciousness. Lies not a very good, nice thing. And we know that if you lie in one part of your life, you are likely to lie in another part of your life. That's how that's how just doing a little bit of a fault can actually contaminate your entire consciousness. And he's equal to all. A devotee is equal to all. We see everybody equally, or at least we try to see everybody. This is the mood of a Vaishnava. And this is one of the reasons why you have in Srila Prabhupada's temples, you have everybody's coming. All different races, all different genders, because ultimately we are spiritual beings. So that's the foundation of this Krishna consciousness. Devotee. A devotee is mild and clean, mild-mannered. Devotee is not overly aggressive, but he's also mild-mannered. Devotee is also very clean. Cleanliness is, Prabhupada was saying that, devotees were saying cleanliness is next to godliness, and Prabhupada says no, cleanliness is godliness. Even in the yoga tradition, in Ashtanga yoga, right? In the yamas and the niyamas, right? The do's and the don'ts. Cleanliness is very important, because if one is not clean externally, it's an indication of what's in the heart. If one is not clean inside, it's not possible to be clean outside. My mother used to be, she used to be very, very strict with me. And she would lock me in my room. When you're a child, you throw things out. Have you ever been, you're rushing, you're looking for one sock, you don't know where the other sock is, and it's a mess. Right? So they're laughing because they know what I'm talking about. And so after 3 days, the room is in a big mess. My mother would tell me, "I'm not going to clean your room. I want to teach you." So she would lock me in the room and says, I'll come only to open this room after you clean. I'll come after 2 hours. So I had to clean that room. And so through that, I learned the importance of cleanliness. You keep your environment clean. And because environment influences, this is also in psychology, environment influences the inside, and the inside influences the outside as well. So if you are clean internally, we'll also be clean externally. And if we are clean internally, our behavior will also improve. You are able to deal with people. And there's something amazing. If somebody if somebody's heart is clean, you can always tell from a distance, this person has a quality of cleanliness. It's amazing. It shines. Cleanliness shines internally. It shines very much. So this is a very, very important quality. And Prabhupada also said, especially with deity worship, that there's 2 things in deity worship, right? There's 2 things that we always observe deity worship. The first is punctuality. Always have to be on time. And the second is cleanliness. So this is a very important quality of a Vaishnava, is that we are clean, always clean. Because when the heart is clean, speech also becomes key. Behavior becomes key. So you see that Prabhupada places very, very, he places big emphasis on cleanliness. And one of the qualities of a devotee is that they are without material possession. They are without material possession. And what this really means is that a devotee may have everything, but one is not really attached to them. Again, this is where the cleanliness also comes in. It's not that a devotee cannot have. There's Maharaj Pratap, what's his name? Vidyanidhi, what's his name? What's his complete? Pundarik Vidyanidhi. He was very wealthy. He was very, very wealthy. And when Chigadadar went to go see Pundarik Vidyanidhi, he saw this person who was wearing all these jewelry, this bling, and he was thinking, nah, he can't be a devotee. Can't be a devotee because he's so opulent. But he saw when Mukunda chanted the shloka and Pundarik Vidyanidhi heard this shloka, immediately he began to think of Krishna and he fell from his seat and he started rolling on the ground. So it's not the wealth that's an issue. The issue is the consciousness of the person that possesses the wealth. I was speaking this morning about, or was it yesterday, about this American, this was back in the 70s, very, very wealthy American person, John Paul Getty. He was one of the wealthiest persons in America at the time. And they asked him, Mr. Getty, what is your philosophy? He says, my philosophy is only one word. War. So this is the symptom of the mode of passion. This is a symptom of an unclean heart. And he was so enamored by the mode of passion that he would even charge his children. If his children went to his house and they opened the tap to get some water, he would charge them for that. If they ate a fruit in his house, they would charge them for that. So this is madness. This is the madness. This is the disease. This is the uncleanliness of the heart. So material possession doesn't mean that we can't have things. You can have things, but the consciousness has to be right. And devotees, one of the qualities of a devotee is that they perform welfare work for everyone. We do food for life. All our ISKCON temples, we do food for life. Even families individually, sometimes I see, they cook and they go out and they give. This is the nature of somebody who's pious. This is the nature of a Vaishnava, is that they always want to do good for others. They can see those that are less fortunate than them, and they want to serve and help. And I think we know the story of our Food for Life started, no? We know our Food for Life started.
Prabhupada instructed all the people who were fighting for the food stuff and the garbage.
Yeah, so Prabhupada was in his room. Yes, thank you. Prabhupada was in his room. He had some commotion outside. He was translating. He had some commotion outside. And when he looked out the window, he saw that the children were fighting with dogs for mere scraps of. Prabhupada gave an instruction that within a 15-mile radius of the temple, nobody should go hungry. The devotees are always wanting to do welfare for everybody. And devotees are peaceful. Peaceful, because the heart is clean. They chant Hare Krishna. It's peaceful. Peacefulness. You know that verse from the Bhagavad Gita? Can you, 529? Yeah, you can say it. What's the English translation? Everybody? Yeah, you can read. Can you read? You can read 529, the translation. That what is real peace? Because everybody in the whole world, we all want peace. Everywhere there's war. I mean, in Palestine, in Gaza, there's war right now. In Ukraine, there's war, and we always want peace. And this elusive peace. Yeah, you read.
The ultimate beneficiary of all sacrifices and austerity, the Supreme Lord of all planets and demigods, and the and a well-wisher of all living and attain peace from the hands of material misery.
So this is really real peace, knowing that Krishna is the origin of everything and he owns everything. Then real peace comes from. Otherwise, peace will remain elusive. For years, for thousands of years, people are always looking for peace. But the only challenge is that we've removed God from the center. So because we've removed all of you, and devotees are desireless. What desireless? What does it mean? I was a Buddhist before I became a devotee of Hare Krishna. And in Buddhism, one of the principles of Buddhism is that there's a recognition that desire is the cause of suffering. Right? And so the Buddha came to teach how to overcome this suffering. And how do you overcome this suffering? You get rid of desire. But there's a problem. There's a problem. We can't get rid of desire. It's something that just doesn't go away. Desire doesn't go away. It's something that's there in the heart of every living entity, no matter what we do. Even when I was a Buddhist, I'd seen people that had practiced for many, many years, like the big monks. They couldn't kill desire because it's part of being. It's part of ontology. Ontology means being. So it's part of being. So we cannot get rid of desire. But as Vaishnava, what do? We purify the desire. That's the difference. We purify the desire. It's like if if you go to a mall and we see beautiful stuff, we see jewelry, right? We see jewelry. Generally, the mood of a Vaishnava is they see some nice jewelry, they think, oh, that would look nice on the deity. You see a flower, right? The devotee sees a flower and they think, wow, this is a beautiful flower. Let me offer it to Prabhupada. Let me offer it to the deity. This is purification of desire. Instead of wanting something for yourself, you want it for Krishna. And because Prabhupada gives this example that when you water the seed, the roots of a tree, the whole tree is nourished. So when you fulfill the desires of Krishna, we also become automatically nourished and happy. So this is how it works. So this is where real peace comes from. And Prabhupada, there's a book that was written by devotees, The Peace Formula. And this is really how we get peace. We put God in the center. So these devotees are desireless, meaning desire means they desire the best for Krishna. They are indifferent to material acquisitions. They are fixed in devotional service, and they completely control the six bad qualities. What are the six bad qualities? Lust. Lust means desire also. And desire cannot be extinguished, as I just described. But we dovetail within Krishna consciousness. Anger is one of the bad qualities. Anger. Everybody has this, especially now in this age that we're living in. People are very quick to anger. People are very quick to anger. Greed and so forth. So devotees are those that are able to completely control these, or at least somewhat control these. And then the devotees eat only as much as required. I don't know about this one so much. Devotees eat so much. Radhanath Maharaj tells the story that when he first went to a Hare Krishna temple, he had heard about these great sadhus, but that when he went to the Hare Krishna temple, he saw how the devotees were eating, and he was like, how can it be sadhu? How can these people be sadhu? But the difference is that they're taking prasadam, being offered to Krishna. But still, even then, Prabhupada said, in the beginning, you should eat until you waddle like a duck. You eat until you waddle like a duck. But at some point also, we have to decrease eating. We naturally also have to decrease our eating. And if we don't do it naturally, of course, old age also will force us to decrease. I eat much less than I used to when I was younger. Not so much because I don't want to, but because my digestions can't handle it. Right? So devotees eat only as much as required, and they are sober. Devotees are sober-minded. They can see right from wrong. They can make a distinction. They can see what is right, what is wrong. They can see what is to be done and what is not to be done because of the chanting of the holy. Devotees are respectful. We respect everybody. We respect everybody. This is one of the beautiful qualities of a devotee. And you see it everywhere. The devotees are grave, compassionate, and without false prestige. They are also very friendly, poetic, expert, and silent. And what does this silent mean? Silence means, it doesn't mean like in the Buddhist, we would go on this Buddhist retreat and we would be, oh, it was torture. Have you ever been, you would go for a week with other people around, but you were not supposed to say anything. And we've been conditioned for so long that we always want to speak. And so we always have experience, we have an internal spiritual experience. You want to share it with somebody else. You can't tell anybody. You have to keep silent. It's one of the most difficult things to do. It's said that human beings are, we have 2 years and 1 month. But the way we do things is like we have 2 months and 1 year. We hardly listen. Listening is a very difficult quality. You always want to say something. You always want to say something. But listening is not such a great quality. Have you ever been in a situation when you're having a conversation with somebody and before you even finish your sentence, they cut you short? And for a devotee, what it means silent, it means that one is silent materially. A devotee does not speak unnecessarily about mundane subjects. Always try and speak about Krishna. This is what silence means. And there's a beautiful quote by Prabhupada where actually this is one of the statements that really attracted me to chanting the holy name. Prabhupada says that chanting Hare Krishna is silence. I like it. As a Buddhist, I read this and was like, oh, that's right. Chanting Hare Krishna is silence. It's because it's transcendental sound. So I think that's my time. I don't know if there's any questions or points of discussions. Hare Krishna.
That's a nice information. And very sweet and simple classes there. Prabhuji, you're talking about the qualities of the devotee. Do you mean this devotee is only for the Krishna devotee or only other devotee also? What is the thing? Because there are many people, there are many followers also.
Yeah.
What is your?
So these qualities generally, they apply to everybody. They apply to all types of devotees, all types of people. But there are some qualities, for instance, like surrender to Krishna, right? That only apply to Vaishnavas. Because, devotees of, let's say, Lord Shiva, devotees of, or even Buddhists they're not attached to Krishna. So some qualities apply to everybody, but some qualities specifically apply to devotees. But for us as devotees, these are the qualities that we have to imbibe, just all of these qualities. Is it okay? Yes, sir.
So you talked about truthfulness. Devotees also should be truthful. They should speak
Truth, not lie.
Yeah, not lie. But sometimes it becomes very difficult because some people even let me talk about devotee to go in devotee society. If you want to speak the truth to devotees, but sometimes the truth hurts also. Should we package the truth in a way that the devotees can accept it without, of course, hurting them? Like the way it is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita 17th chapter, that we have to
speak of speech.
Of the speech, words that are not agitating, on how you reconcile the two. The truth. Speaking the truth, at the same time taking care of the devotee not to hurt them.
Yeah. There's an art to speak it. There's an art to sharing truth with devotee. I was part of what is called the Toastmasters Club, and there we were taught how to actually give feedback. It's like a sandwich. You've heard of the sandwich? So sandwich means that you want to share something with somebody, right? You want to share certain truth with somebody. First, you speak about one good quality about them. Oh, you're such a wonderful person. You're such a wonderful cook. And then you share with them what you really want to say, but you share it in such a way that it's not going to break somebody's heart. Because words are very, very powerful. Words are very, very powerful that they can break somebody's faith. You know, you've heard people saying, I'm a straight shooter, right? They're saying, I'm a straight shooter. It's actually an excuse to just criticize somebody and the person should accept it. So we should be very careful because, what is that verse now? That sound can either build or it can liberate. So words also hold the same type of weight that even as devotees, if you're going to criticize, it shouldn't really be criticism. It should be trying to share with somebody how they can improve, room for improvement. Because, if we are careless with our words, we can destroy somebody's faith. Somebody can leave Krishna's lotus. And so this is why Krishna is saying, in terms of the austerity of speech, like you're saying, that we have to be able to know how to speak. So in its Toastmasters Club is you say something nice quality about somebody, and then you share something. Oh, Prabhu, this quality, that quality, especially. And then after that, you close it off with another good quality. That's called the sandwich feedback. So this way, the person will be able to more likely to accept what you're saying, because not only are you criticizing or recognizing the negative, but you're also seeing the positive. How many of you, especially the older ones, how many of you still remember words that your teacher said when you were young? Words that hit you when you were still a child. You'll never amount to anything. You are useless. You'll never pass. Right? Some of us still hold these. We remember these words and they still hurt, isn't it? It's a fact. It's a fact. So this is the potency of words that, once they enter the heart, it's very hard for them to leave the heart. So rather than leave a negative impression in somebody's heart, leave a positive impression. And Srila Prabhupada is such a great example of that. Nowhere will you see Prabhupada carelessly chastising or criticizing somebody. They'll criticize, but they'll also recognize the good qualities of the person. So speech is very, very powerful, and we should also be very careful, especially with the young kids, with the young children. We have to build their future by speaking, just giving them proper feedback, proper, words of encouragement. Of course, just chastisement, but at the same time, the chastisement, it shouldn't be that the adult or the teacher or the guru is taking out his frustration on a student or on a child, but it should be with the mood of edification, of improving the person. Is that okay? Okay, any other questions, comments?
How to come out from material attachment?
How to come out from material attachment? Attachment is something that is it's natural. So attachment is something that is natural, and Srila Prabhupada describes that the attachment. So we attach to material stuff. So the idea is to shift that attachment from material stuff to Krishna. So the more our attachment increases in Krishna consciousness, the less we have attachment of the material stuff. So it's a natural progression. And it's it's through the process of Krishna Lila. We're chanting, doing devotional service. Sarva Pali Vini Muktam Tat Parat Vena Nirmala. Rishikena Rishikesha Sevara Bhakti Uchati. That when we engage in Krishna consciousness, doing service, reading, studying, chanting, and so forth, something amazing happens. Sarva Upadi. These upadis and the different attachment, they slowly lessen. slowly lessen. So through the practice, the attachment will become less and less. But it should be, it shouldn't be careless, because I know sometimes some of us, when we speak with others, when we preach, we tell people, don't, you shouldn't get attached. You have to give up your business. You have to give up your wife. You have to give up this. No, it's a gradual process. I was speaking with Prabhuji also this morning about that, sharing with people Krishna consciousness in a way that it'll slowly unravel their attachment. So this would be, and this is Prabhupada's instruction. For instance, we should just put Krishna in the center. There's no need to renounce anything, because after all, nothing belongs to you. What are you renouncing? Nothing belongs to you. So rather put Krishna in the center and use what you have for the service of the Lord. That's real renunciation. The other, Prabhupada would call it artificial renunciation, where you give up things. And giving up things when the heart is unclean is problematic, because you'll always be meditating on those things that you gave up, and you'll be lamenting. They made me give up my car. They made me give up my house. They made me give up my business. Right? So you'll be meditating. So it's useless. It's futile. So rather we utilize whatever we have in the service of Krishna, and through this way we become detached. That's real detachment. Is that okay?
Okay, Krishna. You say that a devotee should be peaceful, and sometimes when we are chastised, we kind of feel that the chastisement doesn't go according to the way logic things like are there, which feel like it's not right the way the chastisement is going, and we tend to like have that false ego that, no, I know better, but why this, why that, and with that we don't like have that tolerance and humility to accept that this chastisement is actually right. So how do we learn to forgive a person who has just done that, who has like made us feel like the ego is now getting out of control?
So usually we find that we think that we are okay. We think that we are okay. Generally, the mood of everybody is I'm fine. I'm fine. So when somebody is correcting you, as you're saying, the false ego comes into play. But usually, especially if it's somebody who's like an authority, if they're chastising you, trying to correct you, they've probably seen something that needs correction. And so the idea here is to understand and to accept the position that I'm a student, I'm learning, even though I may have a degree and this person is not a degree, I may be educated, but they see something. Because as I was describing earlier, that generally speaking, when the chastisement is meant to build, it's meant to build the character of the person, it's meant to correct the person, not to bring the person down. And it's natural that the false ego will come. But as I was just describing also, when we are chanting and when we reflect also, there's something called reflection. There's always reflection. I learned something from, before I get to this. So there's always reflection also. We should have this mood of reflection. Right? Reflect on the person that was correcting me or chastising me. Where were they coming from? What did they see that I didn't? And then, you can also journal. It's very helpful. I learned this from Jumna Maharaj, that you can also write these things. But generally speaking, the devotees, when they correct or when they chastise, it's usually to help us. It's not to bring us down. In the material world, it's a little different. We may think that people. I mean, if you lived long enough, you know that in the material world, really nobody has your best interest at heart. In the material world, nobody really has. It's everybody for himself. Well, right? Everybody's for himself, and so in the material world, we see each other as objects of our own progress. I use you to get my own end. But in Krishna consciousness, the opposite is true. That we are being corrected so that we may become more Krishna conscious. So the cultivation of humility, also through reflection, with a little tolerance as well. And also, I don't think devotees are very unreasonable. If we, if we get chastised, right? Let's say, or we get corrected, we just take time. Breathe before you respond. Breathing is important. Take a breather, reflect a little bit. And if you still don't understand the chastisement, you can approach the person that chastised you. And in a calm, now you've calmed down a little bit and say, Prabhu or Mataji, I didn't quite understand your chastisement. Please, can you explain to me why you chastised? Is that okay? But yeah, so the idea is always for the edification of the living being, the devotees, generally. Okay, I think
Question from the chat.
what's that?
Hare Krishna, is there any question
Oh, there's
from Zoom? I think there is none. No response.
Can I take more questions? Yeah. Okay. Hare Krishna. Do you mind speaking a little louder?
What is
Yeah, tolerance can be in the modes of nature also. Tolerance is the mode of ignorance, the mode of passion, the mode of goodness. So there are some things that we shouldn't tolerate, like violence, for instance. It's not something that we should tolerate, isn't it? And if you tolerate violence, for instance, that's tolerance in the mode of ignorance. And we know, especially in the country that I'm coming from, South Africa, there's a big GBV, gender-based violence against women. It's a big thing, And during these G20 summits, the women said we've had enough. They went and they hundreds and thousands of them. They came in and they said enough is enough. So they couldn't tolerate. So there's some things that we shouldn't tolerate because they're not tolerable. And there's some things that, especially if it's meant for our own edification, like we just discussed with the gentleman, tolerate those. Yeah. So we have to make a distinction between tolerance that's in the mode of passion and tolerance in the mode of good. Tolerance in the mode of goodness is usually as I said, things that are meant to build our character, things that are meant to help us also. And also if somebody makes a mistake, let's say at work or in school, instead of it's a simple mistake, an innocent mistake, you can tolerate. If somebody cheats, that's not something you tolerate. So there's different types of tolerance. Is that okay? Anything else? So you've tolerated me enough. I think it's time to stop.
One big one.
Yes.
So there's somewhere I read, I can't recall where I read that where there is love, there is no question of tolerance. Because tolerance shows that there's some pain that you are tolerating, but you can't do anything about it. But when there is love, just like, for example, married couples, like a husband loves the wife husband cannot say, I'm tolerating my.
They say that sometimes.
Yeah. So where there is love, maybe love for devotees, there is no question of tolerance. Whatever comes to understand.
Yeah. And so this is where that austerity of speech comes from. When we correct somebody and it's coming from a place of love, the person can also pick it up. And so, they'll accept it. But if it's, that speech is coming from a place of hate, place of anger, it's naturally the person will also naturally respond with false ego, like you said. But yeah, when there's love, definitely there's no tolerance. It's just love. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So how you can understand how the nice and sweet class by Prabhu. So I request everyone, please come tomorrow also for the evening class. here. And also day after tomorrow, Sunday, there is a love feast program, Sunday class also as usual. So for glorification of Prabhuji, please chant one round of Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Rama Rama Hare Hare
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai
Jai.
Tomorrow we're speaking about
Jai.
chanting the holy names. Yes. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Next come for the prasadam.
Hare
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare.
You have
What is this going on? And class is the 7:30 to 8:30. Yeah, so very significant. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.